When a top AI safety researcher at one of the world's leading labs quits with a public warning, it's worth paying attention. In this explainer, RedHub AI is going to analyze what this high-profile resignation really tells us about the tension at the heart of the AI industry, the growing conflict between speed and safety. So imagine the person whose job is to prevent AI from causing a catastrophe. Now imagine that person is suddenly resigns, and this is the very first thing he says to the public. It immediately raises the question, what could possibly be happening inside a top AI company to trigger such a direct and serious warning? To really get to the bottom of this, here's how we're going to break it down. We'll start with the resignation itself, then look at the message, the underlying conflict, how it fits into a larger pattern, and finally, the core dilemma this all points to. All right, let's start with the event that got this whole conversation started. The person we're talking about is Mrinank Sharma. He was the head of the AI safeguards team at Anthropic, the company that builds the Claude AI models. He didn't just quietly quit. He resigned very publicly, and his letter on X just exploded, getting over 1 million views almost instantly. Now, to really understand why this is such a big deal, you have to know what an AI safeguards team actually does. Think of them as the internal emergency brake for an AI company. Their entire job is to research the absolute worst-case scenarios and then figure out how to stop them from ever happening. So RedHub analysis shows that when the leader of a team like this walks out the door, it's a significant red flag. Okay, so let's dig into what his resignation letter actually said. What was the warning? He wrote this: "I've repeatedly seen how hard it is to truly let our values govern our actions." What he's really describing here is a gap between the company's stated mission, which is very focused on safety, and what was actually happening day to day. He's suggesting that despite good intentions, other forces were winning out. And his team's work wasn't abstract. They were tackling some of the most serious risks imaginable. We're talking about defenses against AI-assisted bioterrorism and studying how these AI assistants might subtly make us less human. These are the high-stakes issues he felt were being compromised. He also specifically called out something called AI sycophancy. So what is that? It's when an AI is designed to be a flatterer, to just agree with whatever the user says. It might sound harmless, but our analysis shows this is a serious safety concern. It can reinforce bad ideas, create echo chambers, and really distort a person's sense of reality. And this gets us to the core tension that RedHub analysis has identified across the entire AI industry. $60 billion. At the time Sharma resigned, this was the potential valuation Anthropic was aiming for with new funding. When you have a number that huge in play, it creates immense commercial pressure to move fast, to ship new products, and to beat the competition at all costs. This chart really lays out the central conflict. On one side, you have the public values, a safety-first approach, constitutional AI. On the other side, you have the intense internal pressures, a massive valuation, a fierce race with rivals, and huge investor expectations. These two forces are very often pulling in opposite directions. So was this just a one-off event? Well, RedHub analysis shows that's not the case at all. This is part of a much wider pattern. Take a look at this timeline. Back in 2024, a number of key safety and policy researchers left OpenAI, all citing similar concerns about safety being sidelined. Fast forward to 2026, and you see Mrinank Sharma doing the same thing at Anthropic. A clear trend is emerging here. So what does this pattern tell us? The conclusion from RedHub AI research is pretty troubling. The very experts who are hired to build in the guardrails for AI are consistently leaving because they feel they can't do their jobs effectively. It's as if the system is pushing out its own safety inspectors. And all of this leads to a fundamental dilemma that's sitting right at the heart of the AI revolution. This is perhaps the most important sentence from Sharma's letter. He's saying that our technological power is growing so fast that our wisdom, our ability to manage that power, is struggling to keep up. Our analysis at RedHub calls this the wisdom gap. AI capabilities are advancing exponentially, but our collective wisdom, our ethics, our foresight, our judgment, that all moves at a much slower human pace. And that growing gap between our power and our wisdom is where the greatest risks are found. So, the key takeaway is this. This resignation isn't just internal company drama. Our analysis shows it should be seen as a critical warning flare, signaling a systemic, industry-wide problem where the race for more power is consistently winning out over the commitment to caution. And this leaves all of us with a fundamental question. As we create these incredibly powerful technologies, are we also investing in the foresight and governance needed to manage them? Or is that wisdom gap just getting wider? That is the core issue this event has brought to light. For a more detailed breakdown of this trend and what it means for AI governance, you can read the full analysis on RedHub AI.